Welcome back to the JCPod, partner with Stare Down Sports. I'm your host, Jaden Chandler Parnell, and man, we got some even up series now. Tonight's games, which we'll talk about in a minute, even back up. Last night games, evened up and 3-1. Yeah, we got some interesting stuff to talk about. It's going to be a fun one today. We got some NFL news to talk about, obviously. NFL schedule releases tomorrow, actually. And they've already begun to release some games, so we have that to talk about. It's kind of a full episode, and hey, you see it right now. We got some hockey to talk about. I forgot to mention hockey last week, so I'll touch on that a little bit this week, because we've had some intriguing action as the Rangers aren't able to close out yesterday. The Dallas Stars, 5-1 win. We got some shit to talk about. So yeah, without any further ado, we'll catch back up on the weekend that was of NBA action. So I believe that puts us back to last Thursday, so let me just real quick write down what we're talking about. NBA playoffs. So back to Thursday. That's May 10th? Sorry, May 9th. So going back to May 9th, we'll quickly just burn through sort of what happened. I mean, there's been a lot that's happened. Because, yeah, last time you saw me, these series were kind of just getting started. Now we're finally at some tipping points. I kind of roughly remember what I talked about when it came to the series. But, man, I don't think I fully expected what's about to happen. So yeah, like I said, we'll talk about it real quick. Cavaliers win Game 2, 118-94. Complete game for the Cavaliers. I think that's mainly the reason that Boston ended up losing this game, is the Cavaliers just had a complete game. Boston didn't play as good as defense. Dallas, they also win Game 2, 119-110, so that tied up both those series 1-1. This goes into Friday now, Friday, May 10th. The Pacers win 111-106. So the Knicks are still up 2-1, but the Pacers were able to get the first game at home. And a huge, massive win from the Nuggets. Nuggets absolutely just blew out the Timberwolves, 117-90. That's a lot closer than this game actually was. It just got ugly super quick, and it just became to a point where it's like, all right, so that game's over, cool. So at least into Saturday. I believe, so okay, we're good. So Sunday is where I'm going to start breaking down individual games. Saturday, Dallas Mavs are able to win. They make the series 2-1. And then Cleveland also is able to, Boston's able to bounce back, make the series 2-1. 106-93 win. Very, very predictable that Boston's going to bounce back there. That leads us into the games that they're going to happen today, but these were the previous games. Last game that the Pacers played, they won 121-89. Absolutely blowout city. I don't even need to really talk about this game too much. Injuries are just catching up to the Knicks. The whole Knicks rotation pattern was completely different this game. You can kind of tell that. Oh, sorry. I left my window open, so I heard some stuff. I'm like, what the hell is that noise? You might be able to pick it up. I am not sure. I think it's Caterpillar working behind me. So I didn't even think about that. Window's open. I'm hoping you can't hear it because I could barely hear it. That's why it caught me off guard. I'm like, man, is my fridge catching on fire or some shit? But yeah, no, like I said, you could tell that the Knicks kind of put everything into Game 3, which was a little bit odd, I'll admit. But yeah, I'm not going to say very clearly, but it almost seems like they put everything in Game 3, because just look at the minutes for this game. Obviously, the blowout changed it a little bit, but Hartenstein 21, Brunson only had 30, Hart only had 23, DiVincenzo 32, McBride 32, Burks 23. I mean, the fact that you heard me saying 23 for some of those guys kind of tells you, like, oh shit, so they didn't play the whole game, huh? No, Josh Hart, I think, I think he was sitting by like 7 minutes left in the third. Didn't play the rest of the game. I know Brunson went out about 3 minutes left in the third. He was done. I mean, the Pacers just jumped them from the get-go. It was hilarious because it's like quick story, I inherited some African dwarf frogs from my sister. They're like little baby things. They had a really small, whatever you call it, it's not aquarium. I guess it could be aquarium, but they had a very small living area. So I'm like, oh, let me go buy a big one before this Pacers game. Do all that bullshit. So I had to go ran to PetSmart and all that stuff. Dropped a quick 100 on some frogs real quick. Nothing crazy, but it's like, man, for some frogs? But yeah, so drop the money real quick for the frogs. So as we're setting it up, I'm getting some help setting up from my parents, because I'll admit, not a big fish owner or aquarium guy. I haven't had them in years, so I wanted to make sure I did everything right setting it up. So we're doing that. The Pacers game's on. I just happened to look over it. Yeah, 32-8 or 22-8, 32-14. It just became blowout city and just got bigger and bigger. Pascal 14, Tyrese 20. 13 from Turner, 15 from Mercado. Isaiah Jackson had 10. Obi had 14. I won't lie. Had Isaiah Jackson over 11.5 points. Had Obi over 14.5 points. Ooh, I would have won like $300 total with that right there, but they were just a little bit short. I won't lie. That was the only heartbreak I had in that game. Other than that, I was very happy. I won't lie. I came on Thursday, I'll admit, and I was very hard on the Pacers for what I saw. I've liked the energy they brought and everything. They've done a lot better these last 2 games. I'll admit, I was a little bit frustrated the way they played. I thought there was a chance that they were going to get rolled. Obviously, I thought they were going to bounce back. I just didn't know if it was going to be a 3-1 bounce back or it's a, hey, we have a chance now in a 2-2 bounce back. They were able to get a 2-2 bounce back. No Randall, no OG Anunoby, no Mitchell Robinson. Oh, I already said that. No Mitchell Robinson, no OG Anunoby. Randall's been out for a while, and they also lost Bogey last series, Bogdanovich. Yeah, I think you can tell that their depth is starting to become a little bit of an issue. I'm not going to make excuses or anything because that's how it goes. And playoff injuries are a thing. I mean, the Heat dealt with it this year. The Heat have benefited from it. I mean, almost the Celtics damn near might benefit from it because they're going to get either the Pacers, who the Pacers obviously don't have Ben Mathurin, who is a big piece for them. But I mean, there's a lot of teams that are just dealing with injuries. I mean, the East is just injury riddled. I mean, the Boston dealt with Miami, who didn't have full health. Now they're dealing with Cleveland, who didn't have full health. Hell, the Sixers were dealing with injuries. I mean, there's just injury galore right now in the playoffs, and it's kind of. I mean, it happens all the time, but it's just kind of weird because now it's like, I think it's plaguing the East a lot more than it's plaguing the West, obviously. And I mean, we're seeing it now. We're seeing it really bad in this next series where it's going to be an interesting game tonight. I don't know what they're going to do for depth. I assume that Thibodeau's just going to put his all in the Game 5 and Game 7, so I think this is going to go a 7-game series. I'm going to be curious to see what his rotation patterns are tonight. Like, I'm curious how many minutes he's going to give guys. Pacers are going to have to come out, and if Pacers come out and win this game, they're going to win the series. If they don't win this game, it's going to be tough to win in Madison in Game 7, and they would have to win the final 2 games. Either team has to win 2 or 3. Which is obviously hard in itself, but Knicks have a little bit of the advantage because they have the home game. They have the 2 home games to bank on. So yeah, I'm not gonna lie, 121-89, just an absolute ass beating. Nothing the Knicks should really do. I mean, Jalen Brunson only had 18. He was the only one who really did anything. They're gonna need help tonight. If they don't get any help tonight, that could get very, very scary. But like I said. It's going back to Madison Square Garden. So yeah, I'll break down that Pacers game a little bit more here in a minute once we go back to it. I want to talk about Game 4. So home court doesn't matter in the Timberwolves Nuggets series. Nuggets 115, Timberwolves 107. The biggest story is Anthony Edwards in this game. Don't get me wrong. Jokic dropped 35-7-7, scored 16 in the fourth. Very, very, very aggressive. However, Anthony Edwards drops 44 points, 5 rebounds, 5 assists. I think the Timberwolves were +5 when he was on the court. He played, how many minutes did we got here? 45 minutes. That means, I think the exact math was 2 minutes, 44 seconds. That's how many, I guess that's how many minutes he sat, was 2 minutes, 44 seconds. And, the Timberwolves got a plus-minus of -13 in those 2 minutes and 44 seconds he was out. It was just pretty much like it was Anthony Edwards. I'll admit, Naz Reid did a little bit of something. Mike Conley was kind of there, and then past that, I mean, it's a lot of no-shows. Rudy Gobert had 11, but I would not say, 5 for 9 from the free throw line. I mean, he was 3 for 5. He was not very aggressive at all. Karl Anthony Towns at one point had 13 points on 17 shots. He just had an atrocious game. He was just dog shit. Had some horrible fouls too. It's the typical Karl Anthony Towns game where I guess not typical, but you get like a roulette reel of Karl Anthony Towns game. This was the one where he shot like shit, and then also happened to have a few dumb fouls as well. I won't lie, the dumb foul thing with him is just unbelievable. I just don't get it. Like, trying to draw a charge on Jokic at half court, like, that's just dumb. Don't do that. Obviously, I'm not going to go into all of them because I could break it down, but the more and more I watch Karl Anthony Towns, it is very frustrating, very infuriating. I mixed 2 words together. Very frustrating, very infuriating to watch him when he does this dumb shit, dude, where it's like, come on, man. Like another one where he just, I don't even think he needed to, but he just basically forearm shivers the guy, does a layup, and he sits there like this with his arm in the air. Everybody else is already getting back on defense. Get it, and he's still like, what? No, I won't lie. It was just a frustrating game for if you're a Timberwolves fan to watch because Ant did amazing. Ant was really, really good, and they just didn't get enough help around him. I was just on Karl Anthony Towns. I mean, Nadri put in 11. That's not bad. Could have used a little bit more. Like I said, it was a whole team effort. Nuggets just came out with some really big energy. The biggest one too, like I said, with Ant, when Ant wasn't on the floor, they just got absolutely destroyed. Ant played 45 minutes, and you could tell that he played 45 minutes because he was tired by the end. And there's a few possessions that he had to take off, which I don't blame him because, I mean, shit, he was carrying them the whole game. So it got to the point where if he's going to stay in the game, yeah, he's going to have to take some possessions off. And it's just crazy because he's so young that it's one of those things where it's like, holy shit, he can get tired, huh? And he is a little bit human. With all the shit he's done, he is a little bit human. But, man, dropping 45 like that, 44 like that, absolutely insane for man. Ant had an amazing game. Jokic dropped 35-7, though. Like I said, big time game from Jokic. He didn't play the final, I think, 6 minutes of the fourth quarter due to foul trouble. Third quarter. Final 6 minutes of the third quarter due to foul trouble. They only succeeded 4 points that whole stretch, which is really, really good. And then they had a fresh Jokic for a lot of the fourth quarter, which is where we saw a lot of the stuff happen. So yeah, that leads us in the game tonight, which at this point I don't know what to think of this series. I'm lost. I won't lie. I don't know absolutely what to think about this series. Just because it's even. I thought it'd be even at 2-2 potentially, but I didn't think it would happen this way. So yeah, I won't lie. I thought the Nuggets might be even dead potentially, and they were able to fight back to make it 2-2. So I'm curious. I will admit, I don't know. I really don't know what to expect from that series. We'll talk about that when we finish up in a minute. We'll talk about this game quickly. Cavs, Celtics win 109-102. Nothing too crazy in this game. No Donovan Mitchell. So shout out, by the way, Jason Tatum. I bet is under 34.5. Cash money. I won't lie. It's been. I love Jason Tatum, and not for the reason that a lot of people think. I'm sure. I love Jason Tatum for the fact that I've been able to bang his under, and it hits with relative ease. Because I mean, don't get me wrong, Jason Tatum's good. But like last night, he dropped 16 in the first quarter, and his over/under was at 36. As I placed it, dropped to 34. But it's like, he's not going to stay that aggressive. I thought it was going to be because of a blowout. It wasn't because of a blowout, but, I mean, Jaylen Brown dropped in 27 to help. Drew Holiday added in another 16. He ended up missing a lot more shots down the stretch, which helped out a lot. He finished 11 of 25. He was like 8 of 9 or some dumb shit. Obviously, he wasn't that good, but he had a really, really good shooting percentage. We'll say like I think it was 6 of 9. I think that was actually 6 of 9 for 16 points right away in the first quarter, and I'm like, this is going to be a sweaty under, but ended up covering, so we're all good. Yeah. Nothing. I mean, there's nothing too great to talk about in this game. I can talk about the Cavs a little bit. I mean, it was a team effort. LeVert had 19. Garland had 30. Mobley had 19. Strus had 15. And they just Karis LeVert pretty much hits a dagger shot to make it a 7-point game instead of a 9-point game. Your boy had the minus 8.5 before Donovan Mitchell was out. That shot really hurt. I literally watched Karis LeVert pull it up with 2 seconds left to make it. It's like, oh my god, bro, really? It's whatever. Like, it's not the end of the world, but man, did that kind of hurt. Thankfully, I hit Jason Tatum's under, so I pretty much made the money back. Just damn it, dude, that sucked. But yeah, like I said, I mean, the Celtics were up massive. I mean, this literally should have been a blowout. Celtics were up a massive, massive amount, and then it pretty much went into the game with like a 14 to. I mean, if we're being honest, it was a 14 to whatever run. It's absolute crap that the Cavaliers even called. They covered. They ended up, I think it was 14-3 was the actual number, 14-4, something like that. Originally it was like an 8-0, 9-0 to make it a little bit closer, and then this literally could have been a 20-point game. I won't lie, I had Celtics minus 19, or I think it was minus 20 exactly. Either minus 19.5 or minus 20, one of the two. Had it exactly, and I'm literally sitting here like, oh, this is the verge. The Celtics just need to. Literally, the Celtics had the knife in their throat. They just need to, or even, let me just say in the gut. They had the knife in the gut. They just had to pull it out, put it in the throat. It was over. And instead, they pulled it out and then turned it on themselves. And ended up becoming a way closer game. It actually got to like 5 at one point. I mean, I don't think there was any doubt the Celtics were going to win, but the fact they didn't cover, you could tell. I'm not going to say, I mean, they just kind of took the night off, it felt like, defensively. They allowed the Cavs to score 102 without Donovan Mitchell. I think, obviously, the Cavs had a little bit of that feeling like, hey, Donovan Mitchell's not here. We can actually do stuff. So let's actually try to score a little bit. I mean, Strus is making shots he hasn't made all series. Sorry about that. But, yeah, just had a sneeze attack. But, yeah, like I said, that pretty much covers that game. I mean, I think Cleveland closes it out next game. I don't think the series goes much longer. I think tonight was kind of like a... I think they would have won by... Like I said, they could have... I'm not going to say easily, but they damn near should have won by close to 15 to 20. But a last little run by the Cavs kept it a little bit close. I mean, literally, the announcers were saying, like, you can see the people are starting to leave the arena, starting to get to that point where it's getting quiet, and then the Cavs flipped it, like, the last 6 minutes. Like, I'm not even kidding. 6 minutes. There was, like, 6 minutes and 15 seconds left. Could have been a blowout, but, hey, it is what it is. It's hard to blow teams out sometimes, especially when, I mean, the Celtics, I think, knew that it was pretty much wrapped up, so they started doing a lot of iso ball bullshit, and that's what kills them. I'll admit, that's the one thing that has me worried a lot, is Tatum was cooking this game, but there were so many possessions, which the stand-around offense, I heard Ryan Russillo talk about this, and now I actually witnessed it. Like, I've seen it before, but I was actually looking for it this game and saw it, and it's like, oh, okay. So, like, what I mean by the stand-around offense, Jason Tatum starting to do his dribble moves, dribbling. You got Drew Holiday in the corner over there, Derek White in the corner over here, Al Horford in the corner over here, and then Jaylen Brown is either on the wing over here or he's over there. I mean, everyone's standing around just kind of watching Brown. He's dribble, and then he pulls up, bricks it. They run back to the other end. Cleveland maybe got a good look. They maybe missed it or whatnot. And this was like a few possessions in a row. Give it back to Tatum. Pass, give it back to Tatum. Dribble. And he does the whole sequence again. It's just like, God damn. And now I see what they mean by standing around watching. I won't lie. And every shot that Tatum took, I think I like two of them. There's a few step backs where I'm like, it's not bad step back. You are open. It's not horrible. But it's like, why take a step back there? Why not keep driving and kick? You can see the defense starting to collapse a little bit, and he does the... like, I'm not going to judge, like I said. He dropped 33. I'm not going to judge. I'm not getting too much into it. I just finally understand what they mean more of about the standing around offense. Because, yeah, there was a few possessions where, I mean, Boston's offense just literally stopped. And it was Tatum iso dribbling, Jaylen Brown iso dribbling, or Drew Holiday looking to give it to Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum to iso dribble. Which, like I said, it's nothing... Not horribly wrong. I still won the game, but it's just like I feel like that's the reason the game ended up being closer, is because I did way too many ISO possessions at the very, very end of the game, and then end up not scoring enough and allowing the Cavs to kind of sneak in and do something. Because honestly, they could have had the subs in. I would say I would say they were probably like a good 2 minutes away from having the subs in if they kept up the pressure. But it doesn't matter. Win still win. They go up 3-1. They're gonna head back to Boston, and I'm sure they're gonna close out. I think Boston won. Like I said, biggest thing that was in this game, I think Boston would have won this game regardless. I just think they would have taken them a little bit more seriously if Donovan Mitchell was in. I think the second they saw Donovan Mitchell was out, it's like, oh, we're going to win regardless. We just need to play a somewhat decent game. And they played a somewhat decent game. Just defensively, I didn't like what they did, and they had a few ISO possessions at the end of the game. It's like, but that's nitpicking, man. They had to win. That's all that matters at the end of the day, honestly, especially in the playoffs. I know the whole saying with betting goes, good team wins, great teams cover. And they were a good team tonight. That's all that matters. And that's all that matters. That's all they need to get the win. Speaking of good team wins, great team covers, Oklahoma City Thunder, man. 22-15 third quarter, 35-27 fourth quarter. Storm back. They were down 10 early. Got as much as down 11 going into half, and then... it's 11 going into half, and then I'll admit, man, Thunder just kept... it was just one of those things where I'll get into it in a minute. Let me read the stats. Chet, 18. SGA, 34. Dort, 15. J-Dub, 14. And then you got, like, they're 6'6", like, small point contributions over there. We're going to go to the Dallas side now. PJ Washington, 21. I bet hits over during the game. That was cash money. He's still going off, which is crazy. I'm just waiting for him to get cold, and he's not getting cold. That was one of those things yesterday. I was just sitting there, and I watched him. I think he had, like, hit... I wouldn't even lie. I was, like, half watching that while watching something else this game. So it was between this game and watching something else. And every time I looked down, I think I saw PJ I saw him when he scored 6 points, or he hit, like, 2 threes. And, like, oh, so he's going off, huh? So I bet it's over, like, 18.5 for some plus money. And then, sure enough, I look back, it's like, oh, shit, he hasn't scored, like, yet. I saw his only 2 makes. He ends up going off, having a great game. Luka has 18, 12, and 10 on 6 of 20 shooting. Not the best shooting night for Luka. Kyrie has 9 points, 9 assists on 4-11 shooting. Hey, for those of you who bet the under 4.5 rebounds, shout out my boy Leo. Cash money for Kyrie Irving, under 4.5 rebounds. That's hit, I think, 3 out of 4 games this series so far. Love it. Moving on, like I said, though, what was I going to bring up? Oh, yeah, every time I watched this game, it felt like it was, for the longest time, it was like 7-10. 7, and this was the Mavs being up at this time. Mavs were up 7, they'd be up 10. They'd be about 5-10, 5-10. It got to 5 so many times, especially in the second half. It got to like 5, Mavs extended, 5, Mavs extended, 5, Mavs extended. Shout out my boy Newski Damas. For real though, shout out my boy Leo. He called it. He said, "Watch it, Mavs gonna shit the bed." Sent me a thing about the Thunder's winning winning margin, 1-10. I'm like, you know what? I actually kind of like that. Plus 300 for them to win 1-10 instead of taking the money line. Let's get it. Thunder ended up coming back and winning 196 to even the series at 2-2. Down the stretch, the Thunder didn't falter, and I think that was the biggest reason that they won the game. Is down the stretch because they could have given up. There's so many times they could have given up. Like, sorry if you heard the scratch of the mic. I had to get some cat hair off it, or animal hair. It could even be dog hair at this point. But no, like I said, they were. Anytime, it'd be like 5, it'd go back up a little bit. 5, go back up a little bit. Thunder could have just caved in and be like, man, we just can't cut into the lead. But no, they kept going. And eventually they took a 4-point lead. 4-point lead about 2 minutes left in the fourth quarter maybe, and then they ended up just pulling away. By pulling away, I mean they win by 4, so they really didn't pull away. But they ended up coming down a little bit to free throws at the end. It was just very, very good competitive way to end the game. I mean, there was just like, I don't think, like I said, this could have been me watching 2 different things at once. I did watch the final 5 minutes, I would say, of this game, but it was just, the missed free throws killed. That's what it was looking up. I couldn't remember what it was. I think it was the missed free throws that absolutely killed the Mavs. Free throws, they go 12 of 23, absolutely brutal, while 23 of 24 for the Thunder. And that's going to kill you, especially down the stretch. Luka had a chance to tie it with 2 free throws. He misses one. I think P.J. Washington needs to make one, pass the ball out, and they get a 2-pointer to potentially tie or something like that. He misses the free throw. It just missed free throws killed them absolutely down the stretch. You can't, I just read it out. 12 of 23. They miss 11 free throws. That's going to kill you. And especially in a 4-point game, missing 11 free throws. That's pretty much where the game happened. I mean, Luka didn't play the best, like said. They were able to get some decent stuff out of Lively. I wonder what his plus-minus was. Plus-minus of 2, which is really, really good, I would say. First minutes on the court. Yeah, I'm very, shout out to Thunder, pretty much. I think that's a very hard-fought win. They were down most of the game. I barely ever saw them up in that game. They took same for Cleveland. Cleveland never let in their game and had the lead for a little bit, but they ended up collapsing. The opposite happens where the Thunder didn't have the lead for most of the game in their game, and they're taking the lead, and they were able to hold it. So now that series is 2-2, like I said. The Cleveland Cavaliers series is 3-1. Leads us into the night games. I'm going to be on the Pacers in this game. I'm very curious to see if the Knicks. I will not be shocked if this series goes 7, but very curious to see what happens with the Knicks tonight. I just think the Pacers are going to close it out due to the injuries. That's my biggest thing. And 2.5 is very, very, very close. Honestly, very, very close. This series games have been 5-6, all these games, and now it's 2. Someone who just said Halliburton's playing like crap is absolutely dumb. No offense to you. Obviously, whoever just said that in this thing I was reading, Halliburton's going off. That's going to be that's what I was about to bring up too. Biggest thing in this game, Tyrese Halliburton's going to have to keep playing the way he's been playing. He's been playing really, really good. 34-6-9, 35-4-7, and then his last 2 games, and then this last game he was 26-5. He needs to keep it up. He needs to at least score 20-25. I would like to see him score 25 personally. I mean, he didn't need to score 25 last time because they blew it out and they had a full team effort. But this is going to be really, really important for him. Andrew Nembhard, I would like to see him shoot slightly better. He's just been weird this series. First game went 4 for 10, went 7 for 9, then he's 2 for 8, 4 for 5. He's just been, honestly, role player. A little bit inconsistent here and there. I would love to see a little bit more consistency out of him, especially with how much they start him. When it comes to this game tonight, I just genuinely don't know. I think it's going to be a good game, but I got nothing to lean on too much. I'm going to take Pacers in this one. Betting-wise, Thursday, we didn't do the hottest, which sucked. I think most of the stuff I gave out, there's a lot that lost by 1. I think I maybe went 1-6, 2-6 maybe last week. Last Thursday was rough, man. Live betting saved me a lot this weekend. That's what I've realized with NBA. It's so hard to pick stuff pregame because, especially with the injury announcements, they don't announce their injuries to like very, very, very last minute too. Sometimes that just screws up everything. So, yeah, it was rough last week. Got a little bit of bounce back this week. Had a really good week this weekend, betting wise. So I'm hoping. I guess I'm not hoping, but I'm looking forward to the Pacers to win. Especially, I'll admit, I'm a little bit of a Pacers fan now. Especially because, yeah, they're finally good again. I've been a Heat fan for the longest time ever. It just sucks. Pacers never fully got me in, and I'll admit, they're finally getting me back in a little bit, where it's like, oh, this team's fun to watch. I actually want to root for them and root for the hometown team. So, yeah, like I said, Pacers, I'm going to be probably on Pacers' money line this game. Knicks are just too beat up, man. That's my biggest reasoning for taking the Pacers. I think the Knicks are way too beat up. And I would say this is as must-win as it gets. If the Knicks drop another game, I don't know if they're going to be able to go back to Indiana and take it. And if they do, I think it's going to be... Obviously, they have Game 7 at Madison Square Garden. It's going to be really hard to win for the Pacers. But if this series drags out another 3 games, I just don't know how the Knicks can stay together. They're already falling apart at the seams and barely hanging on. I mean, Brunson's already hurt. He's close to... I'm not going to say he's going to close to, like, falling out, obviously, but... He's close to getting injured and just like the bottoming out himself a little bit. I mean, a lot of his shots were short last game. Quick turnarounds too for a lot of these games. These guys, I think this is one of the. This series hasn't had like the 2-day break yet. The Nuggets, T-Wolves, they got their 2-day break like right away off the bat. This game's been every other day, and it's not going to get their 2-day break until I think either next game or game after. So, I'm on Pacers. Think Pacers can potentially win it big when it comes to the Nuggets and Timberwolves. No clue, absolutely zero clue. I'll probably bet on Ant to score like 30-35, maybe have some fun with that. Maybe take Jokic over points, rebounds, and assists. It's always not a bad play. But, yeah, I'm going to watch this game live and see what's up because zero clue in that series. But, yeah, that's going to do it for the NBA portion of the show. Let's go over some NFL news now real quickly. Like I said, they've started to announce some games and everything for the... Yeah, we'll go over NFL news real quick and then we'll end up with some NHL standings. Yeah, like I said, they've gone over some schedules releases, so I'll drop in some game schedules like that. But... Thursday is going to be a majority of the NFL schedule. Thursday, and then we'll talk about it over probably the next week and a half. So Thursday, and then we'll talk about some more next week as we see more matchups and everything. But like I said, going into NFL news, Bills expect to sign Marquez Valdes-Scantling. Makes sense because the receiver room's kind of beat up. I believe they also, along with Marquez Valdes-Scantling, I believe Ian Rappaport signed Curtis Samuel. Oh, so Curtis Samuel's four. So it's Curtis Samuel, Keon Coleman, Marquez Valdes-Scantling. That's kind of what the Bills' wide receiver room's a little bit looking like so far. Interesting. Not gonna lie, I don't have anything to say because I've seen worse receiving rooms, but it's just interesting to say the least. Aaron Rodgers is gonna returning for Week 1 Monday Night Football, and they play the 49ers in Week 1. Woo! That's going to be a good-ass matchup. We'll talk about that more Thursday. I just want to at least bring it up. Dallas Cowboys play the Cleveland Browns, I think, at 4:25. This is all Eastern times. 4:25, and I think Tom Brady's going to be announcing that game. I think it's the first game he's announcing. That's going to be interesting, especially with everything that's been going on with Cleveland and all that. Yep, Brady's first TV debut, too. Week 1, Brady's TV debut. Very excited to see what's up. I'm going to reword that a little bit and sound a little bit more like English. Lions signed Jared Goff to a 4-year, $212 million extension. That boy got the bag. They were going to talk about extending him. I didn't think they were going to give him this much money. I believe he is now... Goff's the highest paid player in Lions history. The 29-year-old makes $53 million annual average salary, which is just second behind Joe Burrow, who's at $55 million. Along with him, Antoine Winfield of the Buccaneers gets a bag. The GM came out on the Pat McAfee show and pretty much said, like, hey, I'm going on vacation. I think he said, like, June. We'll just say, I'm going on vacation first week of June. I want this deal done way before I go on vacation so I don't have to be on the beach stressing about it. And that he just did. 4-year extension worth $84.1 million for Antoine Winfield, highest paid safety, or highest paid DB even. Wow. Shout out to him. Seriously, that's a shit ton of money. That's absolutely awesome. Stable for the Bucs. He's been one of the best DBs in the game. He's extended now through 2027. And, yeah, I mean, defensive back's been getting paid a little bit, man. Jair Alexander got $21 million a little bit earlier, and then Chargers, Derwin James, he earns about $19 million. So that put Antoine Winfield's making some money. Chiefs Ravens are going to open up the season on September 5th. So, man, that's going to be awesome. So we get Chiefs Ravens September 5th. which is that Thursday. And then we get Eagles and whoever it is for that Friday game. I can't remember who the Eagles play, but they get the Friday game in Brazil. That's pretty cool. So we get a Thursday game, a Friday game, and then we chill to Sunday. Kind of like that. Buffalo Bills, Sean McDermott is getting help to address his red challenge flag decision by adding former official John Perry. This is actually a really, really good news. Really fascinating news, not good. This is really, really fascinating because if you think about it, it makes sense. Hire an official. They know the most about challenges and everything. I am very curious to see if this is the first of many things that happen. I would not be shocked if this becomes a thing now where we see more teams hiring officials. Apparently, McDermott has successful on 3 of his 6 challenges made last season, but has an overall record of just 10 of 33. So, that ain't good. That's about 30% hit rate versus, I think, including playoffs, according to Pro Football Reference, Kansas City, Andy Reid, as a comparison, has hit 4 or 5 challenges last season, and he has 72 and 143 at all. That's a 50% clip versus a 30-some, yeah. So I'm very curious. I think this honestly is a good move. I'm very excited to see how it works hiring an official because I think this is potentially something that we could see in the future. The Jets apparently sought Hackett's replacement. So apparently they made legitimate attempts to hire somebody. They didn't part ways with him, but they did look to actually do it. So I won't lie, the Jets are an absolute mess. I think that between Aaron Rodgers, and I'm not blaming Aaron Rodgers, but between him and his power of the people he likes, the ownership, listening to him too much, not building the team, and then keeping around Robert Saleh, there's a lot going on with the Jets. I still can't believe Mike Vrabel isn't on this team. I think this would be an amazing Mike Vrabel coach team, but obviously he's not the coach. I think the Jets are going to be good, but I just don't think Hackett and Saleh are anything crazy. I don't think they're horrible coaches, but I don't think they're anything where it's oh wow, yeah, they're going to be game changing. I don't think they're on the Andy Reid level of game-changing and offensive scheme, shit like that. So I'm curious to see how the Jets do this year because they've always had something bad happen to them. I don't think Aaron Rodgers gets hurt again like that, but I don't know. I will admit I'm very interested in the Jets this year, even though I've just dumped on them. I'm very interested in them. I think they could have potentially a good year. It's hard to believe in it when you even the Jets fans are oh, they ain't gonna do anything good this year. Something bad's gonna happen again. When they're talking like that, it makes it a little bit hard to believe. But like I said, I also need to see the Jets schedule too. The Jets schedule might be slightly bit easier. That could be all they need. Maybe all they need is an easy schedule to get them through. And hey, you never know. That's going to be the fun part about Thursday, as we get our answers to that question exactly. Apparently, seeing Nick practice is almost like watching a good golfer. He said sometimes when you watch his game over 2 years, there's patience in how he plays. The ball comes out, and I don't want to use the term boring. That's not the right term, but pretty good decisions with each play. I thought he was going to say something cooler, so I kept reading it, and as I kept reading it, I just kept getting more football terms. So it's not bad, but it sounds like Bo Nix is winning over Sean Payton a little bit. Very curious to see, because I don't know who's going to start for Denver. They got, realistically, I would say 3 quarterbacks are on all very similar playing levels, so I don't know who they're generally going to start. Chargers GM A.J. Smith dies at 75. Rest in peace. I believe I don't know when he let go of the team. Yeah, I can't remember when. It's probably been a minute, but shout out to him. Because I'll admit, I thought the name, I recognize the name. I don't think I do, actually. Chargers are signing veteran pass rusher Bud Dupree. Really good signing for them. I don't think they're only. The contract is worth $6 million with a maximum value of $10 million with the incentives. That's not a bad deal at all for a pass rusher. Patriots are officially naming, I think it's Elliott Wolf is the head, their executive vice president of player personnel and head of front office, which is, for most of you, let's be honest, this isn't even for most of us. For mostly all of us, this is like a non-nothing move. For Patriots fans, it's probably huge because you're finally seeing, instead of Bill Belichick in a lot of roles, you're seeing a bunch of multiple roles spread out. So I'm sure it's kind of exciting to see all this new stuff happening. Be like, hey, I am genuinely curious what the new look Patriots will look like. I've only seen them with Bill Belichick in my lifetime, so it's going to be interesting. Cowboys will use Zeke in a running back committee. That's not shocking at all. They're not going to run him into the ground. That's not going to be his role. We are going to be a running back by committee. So, yeah, I doubted he was going to get all the carries. Not shocked at all. Kelsey's visited Eagles almost every day since retiring. I'm sure it's awesome for him to be able to visit and then talk to all the boys. And then when they got to go out to practice or do all that bullshit, he gets to be like, all right, I'm going to go home now. I'm sure that is a great feeling. I'm sure his body is loving him for that. Jerry Rice hot after his son fell to the 7th round. So yeah, apparently this is what his dad had to say. This is Jerry Rice. He's like, hell no, we're going to take this to a different level. These guys are going to feel us. I will admit, I was shocked he dropped all the way to the 7th round. But I think he's going to end up being a really solid wide receiver in the NFL, especially because your dad's like, not only because his dad is Jerry Rice, but I mean, he goes similar with Marvin Harrison Jr. Like, you had a dad in the NFL who played multiple years at a very high level, so he knows what it takes. He knows, especially Jerry Rice, man. I'm sure Jerry Rice has taught his son everything that he needs to know, so I think his son's going to be just okay. Bill Belichick will be a permanent guest on the Manning Cast. Awesome news. Any more Bill Belichick we get on the TV, it's awesome to learn more from him. I think that's about it. Zay Jones is signing with the Cardinals. Kirk Cousins is pretty much full go in the offseason workouts, so it sounds like he should be back. Penix is very excited to learn behind Kirk Cousins. I will admit, I don't think that's a bad person to learn behind. He's been pretty successful in the NFL, especially with that contract and that money, boy. So, I mean, Penix is learning from a good one. Eberflus confirms Williams as a starter, no conversation. I don't even know who their backup is, honestly. Sort of Brett Rippon, Tyson Bagent. Yeah, that's pretty obvious. I don't think we needed to question that one. Raiders deny flipping coin and draft Bowers. That's hilarious. Apparently, a joke. Somebody came out and said the Raiders decided between drafting Terrion Arnold and Brock Bowers from a coin flip, which obviously it came out as not true. That's kind of hilarious, though, if they did do that. I would respect them heavily. He's like, hey, we love both guys so much. Screw it. Apparently, Treylon Burke is apparently still going to be getting. Apparently, Treylon Burke's going to play everything. We got him going. He's going to play inside. He's going to play outside. He's going to carve out a role for himself. And this is the first-round pick they took in 2022 of the Tennessee Titans. Even though they've added a lot of room to the receiver, or a lot of receivers to the receiver room, but they still said either they're going to find a role for him, which makes sense. He's a very talented guy. I'm not shocked at all. They're going to try to find a role for him. Hall of Famer defensive back Jimmy Johnson dies at the age of 86. Rest in peace. Obviously, he's All-Pro. Let me get this right. Pro Football Hall of Fame defensive back Jimmy Johnson, a 3-time All-Pro, and a member of the All-Decade team of the 70s. Pretty good. Texans acquired Ben Skoranek. That's not a bad signing. A little sneaky signing. So here's their updated receiver room for Houston. It's a trade. So they traded him over, so... It's Stephon Diggs, Nico Collins, Tank Dell, Robert Woods, John Mechie III, Noah Brown, Ben Skoranek. I'm assuming one or two of those names are going to be off that list, but that is a pretty good wide receiver room. And that's going to do it for NFL news. We've been over everything. Like I said, the NFL schedule release is going to be Thursday. Very, very, very excited for that. Very excited for that. That's probably going to be taking up a bulk of the time after the NBA playoffs. Because, we went heavy on NBA playoffs today. Which is nice because there's, if we go over the games real quick, like I said, Pacers, Knicks, Nuggets, Wolves, and then tomorrow there'll be Cavs, Celtics, Denver, Thunder. Thankfully, so there's only 2 games. And then Thursday, best part, there's only 1 game to talk about, Nuggets and Timberwolves, because of the scheduling with the Knicks-Pacers game. So it's going to be really cool. Going to hop on pretty much and talk a lot about the NFL. To end it real quick, let's talk some standings in the NHL, because it's been a minute since we've been on. Hurricanes with a huge win last night. Massive win last night. The series is now 3-2. Rangers, I think, were up 3-0 or 3-1. Minimum, they're up 3-1, obviously, but I think they were up as much as 3-0. The Florida Panthers are up 3-1 against the Bruins. Bruins survived Game 7 in the last series, and now they're going to need to win 3 in a row to overcome this series. Now the Canucks are up 2-1 against the Oilers. I'm pretty sure they play tonight. Same with the Panthers series. And then Dallas Stars, Colorado Avalanche. Stars are up 3-1 after a massive win last night against the Avalanche. Yeah, that's pretty much your hockey standing. So it's looking like Rangers, Panthers, and Stars are all 1 win away from moving on to the Eastern... I'm assuming it's the finals, the Eastern Conference Finals for the hockey, and then it's the Stanley Cup. That's probably going to do it for today, I won't lie. I don't need to go too much longer. Kind of broke down everything I really needed to. There's a little bit to talk about. A little bit NFL, a little bit of NHL, a little bit of NBA. Yeah, like I said, we're going to slowly... it might seem a little bit chaotic today. If it did, I apologize. It's going to be a lot more organized upcoming. It's just I had loose ideas written up here, but I hope, like I said, we're almost to that point now where I have stuff locked into the slate that we're going to be talking about, so it's going to be a lot more direction filled. Because I'll admit, we were just kind of feeling the vibes out today. Bouncing NBA, oh, let's talk NFL. Oh, bring it back to NBA. There's a little bit of vibe feel today in the show. So, yeah, like I said, very excited for what we have upcoming this summer, especially after schedule release. Pretty much that means it's almost football time, man. I know it's May, but these days slowly, I think we have 114 days till the NFL kicks off. It's going to come quickly, man. It's already like a snowball already, because it feels like the Super Bowl just ended a little bit ago, and now we're, boom, into May. And so it's going to be, roll a little bit, then it's going to be June, then July. All of a sudden it's August, and then boom, September opening week. Can't wait, man. Very excited for it. Thank you all for watching. Thank you for all the support. Really do appreciate it. I should be back on Thursday. I'll admit, I got some stuff changing with me, schedule-wise in my life. It's nothing too crazy. The other place I'm working at in between Stare Down Sports and all that, I'm going to, I think, move the mornings potentially. So, might be a lot more pods released in the afternoon. I don't know. Got to figure out the schedule. So, just be aware that there's going to be a pod. It just might be a little bit later in the day because, yeah, we're going to have to figure out a new schedule pretty much. Thank you all for watching. Thank you for all the support. Really do appreciate it. I'll see everybody back in this feed on Thursday.